Happening right now, folks displaced by Monday night storm are trying to find shelter to escape low temperatures and rain in the forecast.
We are cognizant of the weather changing, getting cold.
The help in place right now for people impacted by the storm. Plus, the Dougherty County school system is further delaying opening schools. We're going to hear from school officials about why they made this decision.
Live, local, late breaking. This is WALD First News at 4.
With storm cleanup and power restoration still underway around South Georgia, a big concern for folks right now is the cold weather and rain headed our way. We have a group of reporters live in the affected areas, continuing our team coverage tonight with updates on relief progress. But right now, let's go over to First Alert meteorologist Andrew Gordon in the Weather Center with more on what people in impacted areas can expect in the forecast.
Well, they can expect those changes that you said, a lot of rain heading our way, and more importantly, probably the dangerously cold temperatures. We haven't seen some of these wind chills in the forecast for almost 2 years now. We've got the rain moving in right now. Not a big deal. We're well above freezing all across southwest Georgia, and I don't think we're going to see the wintry precipitation as of right now. You can see as we go into this evening, though, a big difference in temperature from our southeastern counties to our northwestern counties, but then all of us turn just very, very cold overnight. This is tomorrow morning about 8 o'clock. Notice our northern counties under that freezing mark. So not good for those folks that don't have electricity that can warm themselves. But more importantly, as we go into Sunday and Monday, look how cold we're getting in the mid to lower 20s. And that's without the wind chill that is going to be in the teens. So right now, focusing on Sunday and Monday morning, dangerous for of course, elderly folks and the infants. And also, I'll tell you what you should do with your pipes here and give you more details here in just a few minutes.
Andrew. Now let's take a quick turn from the storm to follow breaking news out of Florida. The Broward County Sheriff's Office says at least 5 people are dead after a shooting at Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport. The gunman is in custody and over 10 victims were involved. The shooting happened in the baggage claim area there, and according to a tweet from the airport, all services have been temporarily suspended. Also breaking developments on the state of emergency declared by Governor Nathan Deal. Worth and Turner counties have now been added to the list of disaster counties here in South Georgia. So that full list now consists of Worth, Turner, Baker, Calhoun, Mitchell, and Dougherty counties. State and local agencies are working to get the affected areas the help needed to rebuild. And with the colder weather coming, city officials are urging those without power to seek a place with heat. The American Red Cross has set up a shelter at the Albany Civic Center, and WALB News 10's Zach Logan is live outside the Civic Center with more. Zach.
Melissa, volunteers and city employees have been busy preparing the Albany Civic Center as a warm place to stay. Now, I spoke to Chief Burns. He is the Deputy EMA Director for the city of Albany. He says that with the cold weather coming and many residents still without power, the city thought it was important to open up the Civic Center as a shelter. This is a Red Cross shelter, which means that they'll provide people with comfort kits, food, and a cot. Now, there will also be a minimum of 2 officers and a nurse to help residents staying here at the shelter. And at this time, the Civic Center is open and welcoming residents. But as of now, officials are unsure as to how long the Civic Center will remain as a shelter.
That's going to be dependent on the weather and how things progress with the recovery of the power to the different homes in Albany.
Chief Burns says the Civic Center is ready to house around 150 people. So if you're needing a place to stay tonight, you can start heading here now. Now, you will need to bring your own pillow. The Red Cross does not provide those. Also, remember that pets and weapons are not allowed. Live in downtown Albany, Zach Logan, WALB News 10.
And residents needing transportation to the Civic Center shelter can utilize the Albany Transit System. East Albany residents can be picked up at the following intersections: Owens Avenue and Maple Street, Comarty Beach Drive and Maple Street, and Evelyn Avenue and Maple Street. And Central Albany residents can be picked up at 8th Avenue at North Slappy Boulevard near the O'Reilly Auto Parts. Central Albany residents can also get shelter transportation at the Staples on North Slappy Boulevard. Another Red Cross shelter in Albany has been set up at Avalon United Methodist Church on Gillionville Road. The address is 3018 Gillionville. The church is requesting that people needing assistance should just come to the church for help instead of calling. And if you live in the West Albany area, you need transportation to the church for shelter, Albany Transit are also picking you up. And some of the locations include Walgreens on Dawson Road, the intersection of Magnolia Avenue and Dawson Road at Mary Acres, and in front of the ASU West campus, formerly Darton College on Gillionville Road. And happening now, Victory Tabernacle Church on Sylvester Road is accepting storm victims in need of shelter right now. They opened their activity center in the last hour, and it's going to remain open until Monday, January the 9th, or until the temperatures warm up. And they're asking that folks bring their own pillows and blankets. The address for this shelter is 3250 Sylvester Road. More churches are offering their services to help affected residents. We have all of this information on our website. That's WALB.com. And city leaders in Albany say progress is being made to clean up the city and safely get power restored to residents as soon as possible. WALB News 10's Amanda Hoskins spoke with them to get the latest on relief efforts.
Here at the Emergency Operations Center, folks are working hard to bring the Good Life City back to life, especially going into the weekend. City officials say it's been a long few days since the massive storm swept through Albany. They say community members have stepped up to help, and they encourage folks to do so heading into the weekend.
This is a good life city, and individuals are good at being good neighbors. So look out for people that you know are elderly, are alone, or disabled or infirm.
As far as the city's plans, Assistant City Manager Phil Robertson says the #1 priority continues to be restoring power. Although the winter storm up north is calling for crews, Robertson assures the number of crews here in Albany will not be affected.
The good news is we have a lot more linemen today than we had yesterday. Tomorrow we'll have even more.
Now that the majority of power on the main roads are complete, officials say they can focus on the alleyways. But City Manager Sharon Subadan says folks must be careful of the down lines.
We have had crews that have run into areas where big trash piles have been dumped on top of lines. One instance, it took them 2 hours to dig out that pile in order to get to the line underneath it so that they could reconnect power.
That goes for traffic as well. If you are driving through an area that is being worked on, officials say slow down.
That's very dangerous. We'd ask people to certainly slow down. If you don't have to be in the areas at all, please don't go.
Officials are thanking the public for their patience. With state help on the way, they say the city is slowly rebuilding.
But the heavy work is still to be done. This is far from over. We've made a lot of progress. We got 1,500 people with power yesterday. We hope to keep improving those numbers every day.
Despite the progress, there is cold weather on the way that could cause some concern. In Albany, Amanda Hoskins, WALB News 10.
And officials are asking Dougherty County residents who have situations that are not emergencies to call these two numbers. The numbers are 229-483-6226 and 229-483-6227. Keep up with the chance of rain and all the weather conditions that are changing anytime by downloading our free WALB weather app. You can also keep up with any and all storm relief information with our breaking news app. You can download them both for free. They're available on the Apple or Android market. And as power is restored to many areas of South Georgia, residents are turning to social media and apps to keep up to date. WALB News 10's Caitlin Chastain joins us from Worth County now. Caitlin, how did the sheriff's office use their social media during the storms?
Melissa, just look at this. We have a post after post followed by videos and pictures, all from the Worth County Sheriff's Office from even when the storms were first starting to come through, and they seem endless. The Worth County Sheriff's Office says that is what helped protect their community during the storm. They say it also helped keep folks out of dangerous areas. The sheriff tells me they posted videos and pictures and asked folks to stay home instead of driving around to see the debris.
Really, when you get more people out there, more people driving by, it just adds to the chaos and it gives people in more danger.
They also used the Facebook page to update folks on power outages and see where power was still out within the county. Now, they weren't the only people using social media. Like Melissa just said, we here at WALB continue to bring you updates through our free apps as well, both our weather and breaking news app that you can download in your app store. Live in Worth County, Caitlin Chastain, WALB News 10.
And one thing many Albany residents have been paying very close attention to is the reopening of schools. Well, today we learned there is a longer delay. We're talking to school officials live when we come back about this decision.
Hi, Melissa.
How'd y'all do?
Yeah, my truck took the brunt of our damage, so we got lucky. Tree down in front, tree down in back. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's been good. Yeah. No, it's in Charlie's paint body. Yeah.
A lot of folks haven't been able to access their cars, and I actually was out on 9th Avenue today following Samaritan's Purse and all those volunteers coming from around the country to help, and they were at Grady Seal's home on Welcome back, everyone. Today we learned the Dougherty County school system is continuing to deal with storm damage and has made the decision to further delay the reopening of schools. And joining us now is J.D. Sumner. You're the DCSS spokesperson. We're very appreciative of you being here. I know it's a very busy time.
Yeah, it's been a busy couple days.
It has been. And so first thing I want to ask you is what schools right now are facing power outages and have this most damage?
Okay, so first of all, the Dougherty County Emergency Management folks and the City of Albany folks have just been incredible in trying to get that power back up. We started off with 12 schools without power. Wow. Now we're down to 5, and those are Albany High School, Albany Middle School, Sherwood Acres Elementary School, Lincoln Elementary, and Sylvandale Pre-K Center. So we're hopeful that in the coming days that those will come back online as well.
So JD, including this Christmas break, it's about a month of kids being out of school. So how are y'all going to handle this delay in terms of extending school? What does this mean for spring break?
Yeah, we've had a lot of concerns, especially since we announced today that students aren't coming back until January 17th. People want to know, well, does that mean spring break goes away? Does that mean we're extending the school year? And the reality is we're not touching spring break and we're not extending the school year. We'll shift some days around or some testing windows maybe, but at this point, that's going to be a decision for the board to make down the road. But at this point, we know we're not going to touch spring break, and we know we're not going to extend the year. So if that's a concern, you can rest assured that's not going to happen. What we are concerned with is making sure that we get out of the way of the crews that are working to recover the city and restore power to those in neighborhoods who don't have heat and don't have electricity right now, and don't hinder any efforts for people to come back.
And those are really the main reasons that brought y'all to this decision.
Absolutely. Well, that and the fact that we do have 5 schools that still do not have power. And while we're optimistic those come back on in the next couple of days, we don't want to tell kids to come back on Monday and schools not be ready and fit for them to be in.
So what happens if the doors aren't ready to be open January 17th?
Yeah, well, thankfully we have a great working relationship with our county and city partners. We've been at the EOC at the briefings, working with the leaders there, and monitoring this hour by hour and updating things hour by hour. So that's why we encourage people to stay in touch with us on our social media, on our websites, listen to local news, make sure that you're staying aware of what's happening, because the reality is things might change. But we're pretty confident that by setting this far ahead, that things will be ready to go by January 17th.
J.D. Sumner, thank you very much for being here. Coming up, more storm coverage to follow this evening. We're going to take a look at Calhoun County, where folks are still cleaning up tonight. And also, when we come back, we're going to sit down with an Albany leader on safety concerns for people with damaged homes right now. Hi. Oh, and do it there? Cool.
Thank you. How about yourself?
All right.
So the house you're moving out of and the house you're moving into both got damaged.
Oh, no.
Now your WALD First Alert weather was meteorologist Andrew Gorton.
So it's not cold for all of us right now. Some of us in the upper 60s, talking to you guys down in the Valdosta area, but that's going to change as we go into the overnight hours. A plummet of temperatures going down to the 30s as we get into our Saturday morning. We're also going to have some rain with us this evening. And off to our north, lots of white you see there. Winter storm warnings for the northern half of the state. Not going to worry about that here in southwest Georgia. We are going to have a hard freeze here as we go to the next couple of days, though. Look at all this moisture. It's moving our way. Back behind this blue line here that you see, that's a cold front, and that's what's going to bring the colder temperatures and the rain as we go into this evening. Right now, we just have a few of us getting some light rain right now down by Bainbridge into Leesburg and Cordele. Most of us staying dry, though, not for long as we get into this evening. Already looking a bit on the gloomy side over in Tifton. You can see that on the Alpha Cam. It's going to get wet over in Tifton tonight. Now, you can see the cooler temperatures already coming in. 41 in Americus, 47 in Cuthbert. But ahead of that front, ahead of the rain, a lot warmer in the 60s still. Again, that's changing overnight. Current wind speeds, too, anywhere from calm conditions to about 10 miles an hour, and tomorrow's going to be even windier, which causes a little bit of concern for some of the trees that could fall over. Now, as we go into the rest of this evening, northeast wind picks up as that front moves through to about 10 to 15 miles an hour, and then we drop down into the 40s. So this is what I have for you guys here on the future radar. That pink shade there, that's going to be the wintry mix. That's going to stay off to our north. At least that's what it looks like right now, even north of Columbus. So I don't think we're going to see much of anything in the way of wintry precipitation, but we are going to have heavy rain move in tonight and lingering into early Saturday morning. But I think just after daybreak, we're going to clear out and even have some sunshine as we get into tomorrow afternoon. But it's going to be very cold. Check out these wind chills. They're going to be in the 20s from 7, 8, even going into 10 o'clock tomorrow. So bundle up if you're going to be outside. And those cold wind chills and temperatures just extended to the rest of the day. Even though we're going to have a bit more sunshine in the afternoon, wind chills stay in the upper 20s to low 30s throughout the day. And notice that northwest wind, 15 to 20 miles an hour. It's going to make cleanup a bit difficult tomorrow with some of those bigger trees. And then we talk about even colder air coming in Sunday morning and Monday morning. Temperatures get down in the mid to lower 20s. Haven't seen these kind of temperatures in quite some time, almost 2 years now, and the wind chills will be even cooler, down to about 18, 19 degrees. So right now, worried about the very cool temperatures there Sunday and Monday morning. Of course, elderly folks, infants, you guys need to make sure you have a warm place, especially if you're still without power. And then your pets, tropical plants, bring those inside if you can. Your pipes, make sure you leave them dripping as you go to bed tomorrow night and Sunday night. And you can have some of those little foam covers for the outside as well. But if you don't like the cold weather, much warmer weather coming our way, 70s back in the forecast by Wednesday.
And tonight, folks in Calhoun County are still cleaning up the damage. Yesterday, we showed you some of the worst damage in the area. They're still working to get houses temporarily fixed. And a lot of the trees are still down, power lines are still being fixed, and the sheriff's office is down here helping people clean up debris. The big trees are what caused most of the damage, and it's good to see a lot of people in the community coming together to help. And it takes a lot of volunteers helping to get all the roads cleared and the damage fixed, as we found out.
Yeah, it's pretty severe this way. I reckon it could have been worse. Anything could have been worse, but we didn't. We caught a lot of damaged houses and a lot of stuff that ain't gonna be replaced.
None of the streets were blocked off in this area anymore, and with all of the damage, many people in that area are just very grateful for the community support. And speaking of community support, joining me right now in the studio is Chris Cohelis. He's chairman of the Dougherty County Commission. I just want to take a moment to let everyone at home know that his home was personally damaged, but he has been working around the clock with a team of leaders from South Georgia trying to get the governor's attention, and we were able to do that and get a declared state of emergency. And Chris is going to help us learn a little bit about what this means, because there's this window of 7 days. What does a 7-day state of emergency declaration mean? I'm confused.
Well, it's very important to us because it sets the window during which we can access state resources. So like right now, our emergency management team is requesting significant resources from the state, and we expect to receive 38 new Georgia State Patrol officers who are going to be stationed right here. We're going to receive chainsaw teams, dump trucks, people that are going to be working on debris removal, people that are going to be cleaning off our streets, people that are going to be providing additional services with respect to public safety, so that our county-wide police officers, between the city, the county, the sheriff's office, can better patrol those areas that have been affected. And so this is a very important time for us, and it essentially turns on the faucet for some resources that are from the state, and it's very helpful for us. They're much needed right now because we have a lot of people that are really hurting.
Well, we really do. And I've been driving around, and now we have the shelters opening, and people who are without power are afraid to leave their homes because they're afraid of looting. And Chris, obviously you're also a former prosecutor and law enforcement, so you understand that. Any thoughts on looting, what people can do to protect their homes, what the city and the county are doing to protect people?
Well, sure. Well, first of all, I don't like looting. And right now we have a lot of people that are hurting. Their possessions are exposed. They're vulnerable. One of the first things that popped into my mind and that I wanted to address was this issue. So I immediately asked for our sheriff to put out some information. We have increased patrols in the areas where folks have had damaged property. Hopefully with the Georgia State Patrol coming in, that's going to allow even more policing in these areas. But you can't cover everything all of the time. One of the other things that I wanted to be done, and I immediately called our district attorney and I said, I want you to please announce an increased sentence policy for anybody that is convicted of burglarizing a home that has been damaged by this storm. And he agreed to do that, and that's fantastic. So if you decide that you're going to loot in Dougherty County, you may get away with it, but if you're caught, understand this, the DA is going to be coming after you. And folks need to realize that. And police are working hard. There's no perfect way to secure your property, and there is increased risk there. I'm experiencing it right now as well, and I get it, I understand it. We're doing what we can with the resources that we have and that we're receiving from the state, and we're just doing the best we can.
Chris, we appreciate your leadership, the mayor's leadership. Thank you for all that you're doing, working together and making this happen. We'll be back in just a moment. Stay with us.
Hey.
In a newsroom since he started the new gig. We're busy covering several big stories today, and Jim Wallace is live in the newsroom with more. Jim.
Melissa, as it's getting cold and dark tonight, a lot of South Georgians are using candles to try to be able to see and to keep their house warm. Firefighters say that's not a good idea. We're going to tell you how many homes have actually been caught on fire because of that. Plus, the winter weather system is going to be hitting Georgia. How people are preparing for snow. That's up in North Georgia, not too far from us. That and more coming up at 5.
Great. Thank you so much, Jim. Well, stay with us online as we continue to update you on storm relief efforts around South Georgia. You can find plenty of information on shelters and school closures and much more at WALB.com. We'll see you back here at 5 o'clock.